Hello, good evening. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharp. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. And I'm also here to talk to you about why you need to apply for adjustment of status right now. So we have a number of categories that are current. They have a current priority date. And what that means is that if you're here in the United States, well, if you're outside of the United States, they're going to move forward with processing your approved I-130 petition to give you the immigrant visa. Now, if you are in the United States, what that means is you can apply for adjustment of status now. And now it depends on whether you do in fact qualify, depends on the specific factors to you. But the important thing is that here's the basic general information you should know. If you are the spouse or the son or daughter under 21 of an permanent resident, that's what's different about this. Usually there's a wait list. There's not a wait list now. If you go ahead and submit your adjustment of status application and you are in current status, you can move forward with getting your green card in the United States. If you are wanting to apply for VAWA, if you've spoken to us, you qualify for VAWA, get on it now. April is the month, and that can change at any time. That's why this is urgent. This could change in May, right? So it's not going to last forever, and this is where you need to jump on it. We don't know when it's going to revert back to a wait list, so you must jump on it now. If you are the spouse of a permanent resident, whether you're separated, even if you're separated from the permanent resident, you've been divorced for less than 2 years from a permanent resident, you may have the ability to apply for adjustment of status. And in some cases, in the case of VAWA, if you have overstayed your visa, even if you're out of status, you can qualify for adjustment of status. And the thing with this is you will be able to get your work permit. You'd be able to get social security number, which means that you will have protection while you wait for your green card. So this is urgent, guys. Get on it now so that you can move forward. It's really essential. There is no point in filing a petition if you're not ultimately looking forward to filing the adjustment of status. And what this current priority date tells us is you have the ability to apply for the two of them at the same time. You don't have to wait. Also in employment-based categories, there are a number of current priority dates. So in employment-based categories, we have extraordinary ability, EB1, NIW, national interest waiver. We have the EB3. These are all employment-based green cards. And for all countries, except for India, we have Mexico and China. So India and China, we have all other countries, Mexico and Philippines, that now have current priority dates for these employment-based categories. So get on it now. If you're here, say you're here on an H-1B, you're here on another type of employment-based status, or you're even here on your visitor's visa, and the conditions are right to be able to apply for adjustment of status, you can move forward now. There's no wait list. So important for you to understand the urgency of this so you can jump on it, especially if you qualify for VAWA. If you qualify for VAWA, you're here without your papers, you now qualify for VAWA. VAWA is where you're being mistreated by a U.S. citizen or permanent resident spouse or parent, or you are a U.S. citizen child who's aged 21 or older. Now, if your relative who's mistreating you is a permanent resident and you fall in the F2A category, which is the spouse of a permanent resident, the son or daughter under 21 and unmarried of a permanent resident, you have no wait list now. Before, it was a two-step process. You file the VAWA petition, and then you file the adjustment of status when the priority date becomes current, usually based on a wait list. That's not the case right now. For at least the month of April, we no longer have a wait list. You can apply right now. All right, so let me answer some questions. Put your questions in the comments, and I'm seeing a number of them coming in. I'm going to start on, oh, well, I'm seeing a ton of questions on TikTok. So I'm going to start on TikTok to get through it and then move on to Facebook, YouTube, and then Instagram. All right. So if my interviewer is scheduled after my 2-year wedding anniversary, will I get a 10-year approval? Yes, you'll get the 10-year. Yep. My spouse came in with a visa. It expired in 2019. We have been married a year now. What should we do? If you're a US citizen, then you can possibly qualify for adjustment of status process. We need to talk to you though. Sounds like you are going to meet the requirements to file adjustment of status. Now, if you're a permanent resident, your spouse overstayed the visa, unfortunately, you wouldn't qualify even with the prior to date being current. So keep that in mind. But always talk to us first. Don't count yourself out. The immigration law is very complex. There are there's an exception to an exception to an exception in some cases. So it is so important to make sure you're talking to us so that we can sift through your facts and make sure that there are ways. I focus on solutions, and you may come in thinking there's no way, and there are ways. Okay, so get in touch with us. This is where you should not count yourself out or take away the opportunity to find a solution. Is it okay to travel with the I-751 extension? I am not your attorney. I would not be able to advise you through here. Even if I was your attorney, I wouldn't be able to advise you specifically here. What I can say is the purpose of the I-751 extension is for you to continue to show that you are a permanent resident. That extension is there to allow you to travel, to allow you to work, to allow you to show that you continue to be a permanent resident. However, in this climate, we do have some concerns. If you have something in your background, like a previous arrest, if you've been outside of the country for an extended period of time, if you are having issues applying for your new 10-year green card, going from the 2-year to the 10-year, there are some complications in your case. That's where you turn to your attorney or you get an attorney. And I just talked about this in a video about how important it is now to hire an attorney. A lot of people think of immigration attorneys as, oh, they only file paperwork. But there's so much more to this process that you have to think about, because you think, oh, I'll just get an attorney to file the papers and I'll be done. What we do here at this law firm is we represent our clients through the entire process. And we provide them the safeguards and the reassurance along the way because we're monitoring their case. We're responding to requests for evidence if those come in, which those are more common now. And the thing with requests for evidence is they're pretty intimidating, and if you don't get it right, you will find yourself denied in your case. So this is where I say, when you have, and clients ask us questions like this too, they check in with us. I'm going to travel, I want to travel, can I travel? They ask questions that we can help them to make decisions about actions they're going to take in their life that may or may not affect their immigration process. So make sure you're talking to your specific attorney who knows your case. All right. Are you able to represent me? I'm in Spokane. Yes, we represent clients in all 50 states and the globe, and we do pretty well at it. What if waiver doesn't come through on time? I would have to return home and wait, or what do I do? Talk to us. We have to understand what waiver you're discussing. Is it the I-601A waiver? We need to talk to you. If I just got up on an I-130, how do I go about getting my girlfriend? So you would not be able to sponsor as a permanent resident. You would not be able to sponsor your girlfriend. You'd have to get married to your girlfriend and then file for petition for them through the I-130 consular processing. Uh, Okay, I got my I-129 approved and they said they're sending me a letter, so it might be from the National Visa Center to get you started on the consular processing. That's basically the process at the embassy. Hi, March 4th paid parolee fee, I-131, how long take to be approved? Go to uscis.gov and look at their case processing times for the I-131, and you will get the processing times directly from the horse's mouth. Okay, so I'm done with questions. Is there a new update on the visa ban? 75 countries. No, but do not refrain from applying. Make sure you're looking at your options to apply so you don't disqualify yourself. Okay, somebody asked, what is AOS? Good question. AOS is adjustment of status. It stands for adjustment of status. And it's basically the process of applying for your green card while being in the United States. So this is where it's urgent to make sure you're looking at whether you qualify and jump on that right away. Visa revocation was done prudently without any reason what to do. With the visa, if it's a B1, B2 visa, that can happen. And it's really to their discretion. They have broad discretion to do that. Usually it's not for no reason. The common reasons are they suspect you've been working in the United States. They suspect that you now have immigrant intent, meaning you plan to come to the United States to live. Sometimes they make that presumption just based on certain actions or based on public records or records, based on searching your phone. They might find things in your or pattern of travel that tells them that you makes them suspicious. Husband owes taxes 2022 before we together. Will that affect my citizenship? This year we filed jointly. It may, because once you file jointly, you're both jointly responsible for these taxes. So you have to show when you're going into citizenship, you do have to show what actions you're taking to pay those taxes if your name is on it. So make sure you're verifying what kind of taxes you're responsible for, and make sure you have a payment plan, you have something to show that you're complying with the tax laws and the requirements to file taxes. So does in this case, does sexual misconduct victim qualify for VAWA? Could talk to us because we want to understand exactly what happened. I would say it's the way it's worded, we'd have to look into it. Not to say this isn't a traumatic event that happened, but when it comes to the U visa, there has to be very specific requirements, and we need to understand if that occurred here. Okay. All right, so now I'm on Instagram and then I'm going to go to YouTube and Facebook. Hi there, Davika on Facebook. I filed for asylum since 2016 and I went for my interview on September 14, 2025. Wow. So basically, 9 years of waiting. Till now, the results still pending. What do I do? In this case, you don't really have, it's another wait. You can put in an inquiry to see, if there's anything that's needed or if sometimes that gives them a nudge to make a decision. But it's once again, it's just another wait. What's the update on pending VAWA cases? So they're just continuing as they have been. Can I file for it? I'm in Jamaica. AOS. So this is for those outside of the United States, in the United States. Adjustment of status are for those in the United States. What about Haitians? If you do qualify for the F2A category, even if, yes, anybody who's in the United States, for example, if you're a Haitian citizen, you may be experiencing the pause. But the pause does not mean you don't qualify. You still must put yourself in the running by submitting that application. We filed for my mother in law green card last year, and her biometrics appointment just came in this week. How long before she gets her green card? What are the next steps after the appointment? So next steps is usually the interview or the green. They make a decision on the green card. Processing times, go to uscis.gov, go to case processing times, and you'll see the range of time that you may have to wait to get a decision. Okay, can you contact? So if you look, let me see. So I'm going to go ahead. The number to call is 561 405 4889. Call that number and we will be able to help you get an appointment. My schedule is filling up, guys, so make sure that you are calling and getting in with us so we can qualify you for, qualify you to be able to get your papers here and move forward very quickly. After 13 months, do you think they will consider the BFD or its decision after 22? Does USCIS inform you if you are not qualified for it? Yes, they do. Keep in mind, this is a discretionary benefit. So in some cases, they do write and say whether or not you don't qualify. They are deciding BFDs for those who filed on or after August, I believe it's 28, 2024. So anyone before that, you can expect a final decision on your T visa. I filed for, so I answered that. Will you get a work permit and social security applying for VAWA? Yes. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. I have a deportation 9 years ago. I used to live there since 2000 till 2017. My kid's born in the United States. So what I have to do? So you now after deportation, there is a possibility to come back, but we have to understand the exact facts involved to determine how much time you be barred. You can be barred for 5 years, for 10 years, for 20 years, even, and permanently. So we'd have to understand and so in some cases you have to remain outside of the United States for a certain period of time before you can apply. If you have U.S. citizen children and they're 20, age 21 or older, there may be paths for you to come back, but we have to fully understand the facts to be able to advise you. Hi there, Althea. A Jamaican who has been visiting visa need to pay a bond fee. So there are certain countries. When I looked, I did not see Jamaica on the list of countries that have to pay the bond. However, keep in mind that that is something that they may do on a case by case basis. But there are no they now have a list of countries that the bond is required. But I don't believe Jamaica is on that list. All right. File VAWA. My spouse is LPR. Got prima facie. Can I file for EAD while case is pending or not? Yes. That's why I'm doing this now. I need everybody to understand if you have a VAWA or you're about to file a VAWA and you're the spouse of a permanent resident, you can file your adjustment of status this month. April is current, and you can apply for your work permit and your travel document this month. This we don't know how long this is going to last, so this is urgent. You need to get it in April, because in May it might be a different story. This is only temporary, never lasts, so you want to get on it. If you are from a partial banned country, can AOS through T status be affected? Right now, they're pausing. So even if you're from a partial banned country, they have a pause on all countries that are on the banned list. That does not mean that you don't apply for AOS on time. It's important for you to file for AOS before your T status expires. Because once it expires, then you will not be eligible for AOS again. So it's important to file for adjustment of status, even though, yes, you may experience some delays, put yourself in the running. Otherwise, you could actually unintentionally disqualify yourself if you don't apply on time. I have a 10-year green card. When can I apply for citizenship? Usually after 5 years of having the green card. If you're married to a US citizen, you've been married to the US citizen for 3 years, then you're looking at 3 years to apply for citizenship. My I-140 filed, but no receipt number as yet. Only confirm of receipt from lockbox. How long? Go to uscis.gov. Go look at processing times for the I-140. That's going to be the most accurate information you're going to get straight from the USCIS, who controls processing times. I'm here on EAD. Am I able to travel in the US with everything going on? So I'm not your attorney. I can't provide you personalized legal advice, but traveling in the airport right now, even with a work permit, can still be risky. They do target certain immigrants, and they may be targeting immigrants based on having a past removal order. That's one of the priorities. If there's a criminal record involved, that's another one. And so you want to be careful, because you don't know, you have to understand your risk factor when traveling. They may scrutinize you they may scrutinize you more than other people going through with a work permit. Unfortunately, you do have to assume a higher risk when walking through an airport and going on a plane. For the N400, for the ban on 75 countries affect the wait time. No, some of the countries on the 75, some of the countries on the list for the immigrant visa pause are also banned. If that's the case, then partially banned or banned. If that's the case, it could because they have a pause on cases, but it doesn't mean you don't apply for your citizenship. It means you apply but expect a delay. What to do to correct the DS-260 forms after you have submitted them. So you'd have to contact the National Visa Center and then provide them the corrections. And they usually do have a protocol in place. If you go to the Department of State's website and you look at the rules and instructions of the National Visa Center. Can I get a work permit? Spent 7 years in the US. If you're here in the US, give us a call. Talk to us about your options. There may be a possibility. This fact alone, just being here for 7 years, won't necessarily get you the work permit. But we've had clients go through similar, be here for as long as that, and then we find that they face certain circumstances that qualify them for the work permit. And that's where we really look for solutions through your experiences here. If you divorce before you get an interview with USCIS, what happens to your spouse? So if you're divorced before the interview, before your spouse gets the green card, it means that they don't qualify anymore because you're divorced. Okay. I'm back on Instagram. Hi, I'm American. I just recently arrived in the country after 30 years. My girlfriend is South African with a visiting visa. She just arrived last week. We want to get married, need advice on the best practice. So give us a call and we'll talk. We'll advise you through it. But you're doing the right thing by understanding how to approach this, especially, just arriving into the country. So give us a call and let's talk. My schedule is filling up, so please jump on it so we can talk to you, qualify you, and get started right away. If my VAWA is pending, can I still file for my travel document? If your VAWA is pending and you now qualify to apply for adjustment of status, then the travel document would be included in that. Our VAWA work permits taking 12 months and longer. Go to uscis.gov. You'll find an accurate update on work permits there. So it's based on my experience, and this is only my experience, for some clients the range is usually 6 to 12 months. But go to USCIS, they'll have a range of time that it takes to get the work permit. If you want to be fully informed about the processing times that USCIS controls, go there and you'll see the range of time it takes to get the work permits. Can I use it to travel while it's pending? Travel documents are there to travel, but you really do now have to think about the risk of traveling outside of the country. A travel document is not like citizenship. It's not like even a green card. It is a flimsy document that says you can come back into the country after traveling internationally. However, sometimes officers may find new things in your background that could affect your ability to get back into the country. So is it worth that risk traveling while waiting? What I often say is I tell my clients, get the travel document just in case you may need, you have an emergency, but think very carefully about the level of risk right now that you're facing. Especially you're in a situation where you don't have your papers, you don't have official status. Yes, the work permit gives you the ability to work here. You have a certain level of protection, but once you leave the country and you're trying to come back in, that's another level of risk that you're taking. A criminal case against me has been dismissed. What documents do I need to travel with? So, you can have the final disposition of the court, so it's like where the judge dismisses the case and approves the dismissal. You can have that. Just put it in a safe place so it's accessible, and you're going to need to provide it for any kind of immigration benefits you're applying for. I had my husband's AOS interview 227 and I got no update. Should I be worried? No, I wouldn't be in panic mode right now. Some of them are taking a bit longer. And I don't know what the interview looks like. Sometimes you may have to be worried just depending on how the interview went. But if everything went fine, you just haven't heard from them. Sometimes they, are pushing it up for approval. It's backed up for review. So it's after 4 months, put in a case inquiry. Can I apply for I-485 instead, or should I just wait? We're tired of paying for two houses. Give us a call and let's talk. Should you apply for adjustment of status? Yes, if you want to stay here in the United States and you qualify through family member, then yeah. But talk to us and let's figure it out. Make sure you have the right strategy in place. Did an AOS for my mom, but I'm from Jamaica. Will she get through? The AOS is permissible here. The what's banned is an immigrant visa for those from coming from outside of the US into the US. Please, a criminal case against me has been okay, so I answered that. I'm not seeing my case update on USCIS. We applied for I-130 February 19, 2025. I'm not sure why that is. You can always call them and check on the status of the case and ask them what's going on there as well. How long after fingerprint you get approved? I'm not sure what case you're filing, if it's adjustment of status through FAWA, but nevertheless, looking at processing times from fingerprint is all over the place. Go to uscis.gov and look at the range of time it takes to approve, and you'll be able to get an idea of how long it's going to take. Someone has asylum pending, got EAD, did VAWA and biometrics. Will they get another EAD? Yes, so you'll get another one. I did a K3 non-immigrant visa with my pending I-130 since Ghana is paused. What is your input on that? So that question or the answer is a bit murky. It is a non-immigrant visa. However, the foundation of the K3 visa, which is it was meant to be a type of visa that fast-tracked a spouse of a U.S. citizen to come to the United States on a visa and finish their adjustment of status here. However, to file a K3, you also had to file the I-130. And so the fact that it's tied to the immigrant visa could mean that they're not going to approve those either, because the foundation of the K3 non-immigrant is the immigrant visa. So I'd have to look further at that, but it's a bit murky. Okay. More questions. Wow, a lot of questions on YouTube. Let's see. Do you, let's see. So 90 days are almost over. Hopefully something better is coming. I filed for FAWA, but I didn't file for I-131. But can you help me file to get my travel documents? So usually we represent clients on their entire case. So we, wouldn't necessarily just do the I-131. Do you provide document and application guidance for filing I-130? Absolutely. We represent our clients through the entire process. We are there. We monitor the case. We respond. We correspond with immigration if needed. We respond to potential requests for evidence or notice of intent to deny. So we do it all. We are there representing all the way. Is it safe enough for a 10-year green card holder to travel to any U.S. territories? There are no criminal record. So I'm not your attorney. I can't provide you the I can't provide you the specific advice about whether you qualify. But what can I say? What I can say is, as a 10-year green card holder, you are allowed to travel. Okay. I filed for my green card through marriage within the US since July 2025. Got a receipt notice in August, but have not received any other updates. Haven't done biometrics either. Is this normal? Potentially, yes. We're seeing a backlog on certain processes, so it's not out of the ordinary right now. If in doubt, give them a call or talk to your attorney. Okay. Hey, I'm from Jordan and I filed asylum in 2023 and I've been waiting 3 years now when I will get an interview after the pause is lifted. So I wouldn't be able to give you that answer about when because, it's not something that I could predict. You can look at USCIS at their processing times right now. So yeah. Okay, I'm still going through. Let's see what other questions. If I-130 isn't approved, can one still file adjustment of status? No. The I-1, no, oh, sorry, wrong answer there. I thought I mistook that for is denied. If your I-130 is still pending, then you can file for adjustment of status. So if you have an I-130 that's pending now, and you now see the priority date is current, adjustment of status can be filed. Can I travel internationally with I-751 extension letter? Yes, but just check with your attorney to ensure that you don't face an higher risk. Can you explain a 42B cancellation of removal? So cancellation of removal is where an immigrant is here, they've been here for many years. And because without a criminal record, they have good moral character, and their specific US citizen relatives will face extreme hardship if they leave, a judge may decide to cancel the removal and instead grant the green card. So it is a type of immigration defense in court. My US citizen mom filed for me back in April 2020. How many years more for it to come through? Go to the National Visa Bulletin and you'll be able to still have an idea of the processing time right now. Can a green card holder file an I-130 adjustment of status for a spouse once she's in the US? Yes, that's a real possibility. That's exactly what I say. It's urgent now. Now, in the month of April, the priority date is current. As long as your spouse maintains their status, their immigration status, while they apply for adjustment of status, or at the point they apply for the adjustment of status, yes, absolutely. So this is where jump on it, guys. Get started. This is the way that you can also obtain your work permit and your travel document. After receiving the VAWA receipt number, how long to get the biometrics and EAD in 2026? So when it comes to the biometrics, it can range to a few months or a couple of months. And the EAD, while you can look at the USCIS to see the length of time it usually takes, 6 to 12 months is usually the general timeline. But keep in mind that I don't control processing times and I go based off my experience. And the USCIS office will show you the complete range of time that it takes them to process all the EADs across the board. To go there and look at the case processing times. How many months does it take for USIS to give you an interview date? We are seeing them as short as 2 months after applying and still going even over a year to get that interview. Okay, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for your time. These are all great questions. Here's what you need to do. Get in touch with us. Go ahead, schedule time to talk to me. My schedule is filling up very quickly. And with this now, we need to jump on it, qualify you, and get started. Just remember, if you're here, and even if you're here, your relative is mistreating you, and you want to look at options to apply, now is the time with the current priority dates current, meaning you don't have to go on a wait list to apply. You can go apply straight for the work permit and the travel document. Thanks so much for the love on TikTok, and thanks for all these great questions on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, go ahead and go book your appointment. Give the office a call right now. You can call 561-405-4889. It's on my videos. The number is all over my videos in the caption. Go ahead, give us a call, schedule your time. This is how you're going to be able to give yourself a good chance at succeeding in the immigration process. All right. Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.